What is going on? Welcome back to another episode of In Between the Numbers Sports Show and Podcast. I'm your host, Daryl, and we're going to be talking about a couple things. We're going to be talking about Jerod Mayo, the former New England Patriots head coach who got the boot. We're going to be talking about why Saquon, why if even if the Eagles don't win the Super Bowl, why it would not diminish Saquon's record, and we're going to be talking about Tyreek Hill. All right, so if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. Please consider leaving a like, leaving a comment. Let's get to it. All right, so right after the New England Patriots lost, sorry, they didn't lose. Right after the New England Patriots beat the Buffalo Bills to move to 4-13, it was announced that head coach Jerod Mayo, the New England head coach, was going to be fired, right? And then you immediately saw a lot of uproar on social media. Former tight end Gronkowski, right? Rod Gronkowski came out and said that, you know, pretty much it was BS, right? You saw former players, you saw fans on social media talking about it. And, I have this channel. I also have a Facebook sports group, and people in there was asking about it, and people, asked me what I thought, and I said, I don't think nobody is going to lose sleep in New England because of Jerod Mayo getting the boot. Right? It was a business decision. Now you've seen people were saying that, you know, it wasn't his on the field um, abilities. It was more so off the field. He wasn't able to build a culture. There was a lot of dysfunction in the locker room, and then the way how he kind of like handled the media, stuff like that. Right? Anytime someone loses a position in a Fortune 500 company or in in the NFL, the side with the most ammo is going to be able to spin it and polish it a certain way, right? But I believe the reason why Jerod Mayo was let go is because it was a business decision, plain and simple. Robert Kraft made a business decision. He made the call, and winning 4 games is not going to cut it in New England. Jerod Mayo, do I think he is an NFL head coach? Yes, I think he has the chops to be an NFL head coach, but maybe he should try college football, right? Be a head coach in college football. That'll sharpen his edge, that'll sharpen his resume, right? Take a head coaching job somewhere at a team that's in the middle of the road or that's struggling, and bring them back to glory and get his name popping, and then come back to, throw his name in the hat back in the NFL. The Patriots are definitely gearing up for a reset, and Mike Vrabel. I keep hearing about Mike Vrabel, right? Possibly coming back. His name keep coming up. The Patriots have $130 million in cap space going into next season, and they got the tools to reload. Right? They want to bring in someone like Mike Vrabel, who he's a Patriot guy. He played for Bill Belichick, right? And they're gonna want to give him the keys to the show. And with $130 million in cap space, hopefully they can lure some big time free agents. Hopefully they can put together a solid draft class, right? But them winning today, they fumbled the number one draft pick. They had the number one draft pick, they fumbled it, and now I think it belongs to the Tennessee Titans, if I'm not mistaken. But personally, I would look at an offensive minded player like Ben Johnson, not a player, sorry, an offensive minded coach like Ben Johnson, or maybe Bobby Slowik from the Texans, to lead that charge at New England. But because New England, all they have had was defensive minded guys. Bill Belichick was there for 24 years. We know what Bill Belichick did. Him and Tom Brady. Bill Belichick is going to go down as probably the greatest coach of all time. I think it's Andy Reid, but because of the Super Bowls, I think it's gonna be Bill Belichick. But if I had any say so in the New England Patriots, which I don't, I will look at bringing in an offensive minded player. I mean, I keep saying player, bringing in an offensive minded head coach, right? Bill Belichick was defensive minded. Jerod Mayo was a disciple of Bill Belichick. He played for Bill Belichick. So he was coming in with the whole defensive minded approach, the whole Patriot way type, whatever you want to call it, right? So I would think I would probably pivot to an offensive minded head coach like Ben Johnson or Bobby Slowik to lead the charge. But knowing Robert Kraft, he's gonna want to go with someone that he's familiar with, that he's comfortable with, and Mike is definitely, to me, feels like a strong possibility. But Robert Kraft is getting old. He's used to winning. He's used to deep playoff runs and Super Bowls, and they're itching to reestablish that culture, the winning culture in New England. So, do I think Jerod Mayo is a good guy? I don't know him at all. I never met him. He looks like a good guy, right? A family man. And do I think he's the head coach in the NFL? Yes, but I think he's gonna have to go to college, or maybe get on someone's staff as a defensive coordinator or something like that, and maybe find and maybe he'll get another opportunity to coach in the NFL. But you have to think that it was just the fact that they wasn't able to get it done on the field. He got let go for difficulties. My Sony camera, the batteries died, so we are using my MacBook uh, camera. So if the quality is, not too good, I apologize, but let's keep pushing, right? So, he was let go before Black Monday. And Black Monday is pretty much the following day after the Sunday of the final game, the final week of the regular season in NFL, right? It's called it Black Monday, and that's when you see a lot of teams, firing their head coaches. And I was shocked. I didn't think Jerod Mayo was going to be the first one to get fired. I thought that maybe Antonio Pierce from the Raiders was going to be the first one to get fired, or maybe the head coach of the Chicago Bears, or something like that, right? I didn't think it was going to be Jerod Mayo, but they let him go. He was the first one to go. But yeah, so yeah, it sucks that anytime you get fired and you have to move your family, or you have to, you're unemployed, you don't have any income coming in. But I think, I definitely think that Jerod Mayo will land on his feet. It's just not going to be with the Patriots. All right, so you know, there was a lot of people who were um pretty much criticizing the Eagles organization because they didn't allow Saquon Barkley to break the record, right? He was 100 yards shy of passing Eric Dickerson, right? And you seen people like Hall of Famer Shannon Sharp, you seen Chad Ochocinco, you seen former Eagles running back Brian Westbrook, sorry, criticizing the Eagles organization because the Eagles decide to rest their players. And people, Shannon Sharp said that the Eagles would have to win the Super Bowl now, because if they don't win the Super Bowl, Saquon Barkley historical season was all for nothing. And I've never played football in the NFL, but I think it's bullshit, right? If you look at, okay, for prime example, look at some of the players that got hurt this week. Zay Flowers have a knee sprain, right? He's not going to play in the wild card game for the for the Ravens, right? That's a starting wide receiver. Jordan Love got hurt today. He lost feeling in his throwing arm. They have to play the Eagles in a wild card game next week. The Detroit Lions, even though they beat the Minnesota Vikings tonight convincingly, they lost one of their starting cornerbacks, right? One of their starting defensive backs, right? Now, the Eagles already clinched. They had nothing to play for. What Minnesota, Detroit was battling Minnesota for the bye, so they had something to play for. And Green Bay They were just playing for a better, seating position in the playoffs. But I just named 3 starters that got banged up, and there's a few other starters that got banged up too. Some that didn't need to play that got hurt, and some that obviously they had to play. And so I think that the Eagles did the right thing by not starting Saquon Barkley. Now, you don't think that Nick Sirianni, you don't think he didn't go to Saquon Barkley and ask Saquon Barkley how he felt? Did he want to chase the record or did he not want to chase the record? Y'all don't think that he didn't go to him? You think he just said, hey, you're not going to play? Saquon Barkley is the type of guy, the type of player who probably said, you know what? It's cool. I'm not going to play. I don't need to play. But even if the Eagles don't win the Super Bowl, which as you can tell by my jacket behind me and by my hat, I'm an Eagles fan. Even if they don't win the Super Bowl, it still doesn't diminish Saquon Barkley's historical season. He's only one of 9 running backs to rush for 2,000 yards in a season. So, imagine if Saquon Barkley would have played today and he would have got hurt. He's playing against his former team, the New York Giants. So, yeah, everybody wanted to see him break the record on them so they can rub it in their faces. But what if somebody on that team decided to give him a dirty hit his knees, right? Hurt him, bang him up, right? Then you don't have Saquon Barkley, who's clearly the best running back on the Eagles team. Hey, Kenny Gainwell he's a serviceable backup, but he's not Saquon Barkley, right? And you already got a lot of people on this Eagles team that's banged up, right? Kenny Pickett is banged up. Jalen Hurts is still in concussion protocol. AJ Brown is banged up. CJ Johnson is banged up. You got a lot of players on this Eagles team is banged up. You think you really want? I don't think that they should have pushed it and had Saquon play. Now, people were saying that, if he would have broke the record, he would have got $3 million. That's, what about his family, X, Y, and Z? Saquon Barkley is loaded. The dude's loaded. He got a big time contract to come and play for the Eagles. And you don't think that Jeffrey Lurie and Howie gave him that incentive? They're not going to put it out to the news, but I guarantee they gave him the incentive. He ran for 2,000 yards. He was the offense a lot of the games. You don't think they gave him that $3 million incentive? I guarantee you they gave it to him. They gave it to him. I guarantee you. But if you don't think that Nick didn't go to Saquon and ask him whether or not he wanted to play or not, you got to be a fool. You got to be delusional. I guarantee you he went to him and asked him. But Saquon Barkley had an opportunity to capture another record earlier in the season, and it's the clips is all over social media. It's all over Google. Just Google it. Nick went to him and asked him what he wanted to do, and Sirianni said, "Hey, let the young guys eat." Saquon said, "Let the young guys eat." That's the type of person that he is. The type of player he is. So if you don't think that Nick didn't go to him and ask him, you got to be delusional. You got to be living under a rock. I guarantee you it was a team decision. It was a decision by both parties, the front office and Saquon, and they are prioritizing Super Bowl rings over records. I guarantee you that's what it is, right? But even if the Eagles don't win the Super Bowl, which I hope and pray they do, it does not take away from what Saquon Barkley was able to accomplish in the season. I'm sorry. That's my opinion. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion, but I just believe that I would have Saquon Barkley healthy so we can make a deep run in the playoffs and possibly win a Super Bowl, another Super Bowl. Then, having him chase a record and getting hurt and not having him, who is the best player on our offense, for a deep playoff run and possibly a Super Bowl victory. That's just all I got to say. And also, if you don't think that the front office didn't pay him that incentive, you got to be crazy. I guarantee you they paid it to him under the table. All right, so we're going to pivot to Tyreek Hill, right? Tyreek Hill came out and said that he pretty much, and I'm paraphrasing. Well, actually, let me just pull up exactly what he said real fast. All right. He said, "I'm out, bro. It was great playing here, but I'm out." So that's what he said. But he said more, but you got to go look it up yourself. I'm just giving you the brief summary of what he said, right? That was him talking about playing in Miami. You know, Tyreek Hill can only blame what he's experiencing on himself. The dude was playing for the greatest head coach, in my opinion, Andy Reid, and the second coming of Tom Brady, my GOAT, Patrick Mahomes, right? They was winning Super Bowls. They was setting records together. And then Tyreek Hill got greedy. He saw what other wide receivers was getting paid, and he got greedy. And Andy Reid called his bluff and traded him for a bunch of first round draft picks and sent him to Miami. And at first Tyreek Hill was trying to make it seem like, oh, I'm back home, I'm with family. Try to say Tua was a better quarterback than Patrick Mahomes and all of these things. And what did Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs do since letting Tyreek Hill go? Oh yeah, they went to go win back-to-back Super Bowls without him, right? He forced his way out of Kansas City. He had a legacy, right? Well, he still has a legacy. Tyreek Hill is still a Hall of Fame. I think he's a Hall of Fame wide receiver. First ballot, no, but I think he's going to be in the Hall of Fame one day, right? He's still, to me, one of the most dangerous wide receivers in the NFL, right? But he had it all. He had an all-time great quarterback. He had complimentary teammates like Travis Kelce, a few other weapons on that offense, and he chose to chase after more money. He chose more money. You know, it was said that, well, it was confirmed that Kansas City was going to give him another deal, but it was only a couple of $1 million short, and he didn't want that. So he went to go chase money in Miami, and what did it get him? Nothing. They made the playoffs a few times, but they got curve stomped, right? They always had to go to the cold weather, and they can't play in the cold weather, and they got curve stomped. Tua can't stay healthy. Tyreek Hill was getting banged up. Jalen Waddle was getting banged up. But he brought it on himself. He has to look in the mirror and blame himself for it. Now he's asking for an out. And, the Dolphins still have contractual control over him until 2026. And, I don't know what the Dolphins are going to be looking to get in return for Tyreek Hill. I don't know if Tyreek Hill still can go for a first round draft pick. I don't know if he's a second. I would give a low end first round draft pick for Tyreek Hill. I would if I was a GM. But I'm not a GM. I don't know. But, he got to blame himself. He could have stayed with the Chiefs, could have had 3 Super Bowl rings now, could have definitely been a first ballot Hall of Famer. And I'm pretty sure they would have gave him a nice contract to keep him happy. And the money he would have been making off endorsements and incentives and all of that stuff, he could have been living happy. But nope. He made it all about the dollar bill. And he didn't look at it in the long run, and now he wants out of Miami. So, there's going to be teams lining up for Tyreek Hill's services. I guarantee you, at one time he wanted to go to the New York Jets, and he decided at the last minute that he wasn't going to go, and he was going to go to Miami. So look for the Jets to try to maybe go after him. Shit, New England might try to go after him because, again, New England has $130 million in cap space. The Cowboys might try to go after him. The Raiders might try to go after him, right? You never know. There's a lot of teams out there that's desperate. There's going to be a lot of, changing of the guards and head coaches, right? Chicago might try to go after him, right? To try to pair him with Caleb Williams. You never know. They might try to get him in Washington to pair him with Jaden Daniels, right? It'd be McLaren and Tyreek Hill. You never know. He's definitely going to have some suitors, but do I think he's ever going to win another Super Bowl ring? Maybe, but his best chances to keep winning was with, them boys out there in Kansas City, who's probably going to win another ring this season, right? Hopefully they got to play the Eagles and we beat them, but, there's a high chance that Kansas City can win a three-peat, right? So, Tyreek Hill got to look in the mirror and blame it on himself. He had it all. He had the perfect situation in Kansas City, and he decided to chase more money. And, again, sure, try to make all of the money that you can. But, I guarantee you before he left to go to Miami, Tyreek Hill was not hurting for money. I'm pretty sure he had generational wealth to take care of him and all of, well, he got a lot of kids. He got like 10 kids, but still in all, he got a lot of money to take care of them kids. If you save your money, if you invest right, that money is going to last him for the rest of his life. It's going to last his kids for the rest of their lives. But let me know what y'all think in the comment section below. What y'all think about, all of the things that we talked about. Jerod Mayo being fired, Saquon Barkley not beating Eric Dickerson's all-time record, and Tyreek Hill wanting to be traded from Miami. Y'all let me know in the comment section below. As always, thank you for supporting the channel. Leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, hit that bell notification button. And until next time, I'm out.